I awoke to the jarring sound of relentless pounding on my front door, a noise so forceful that I momentarily feared an intruder was attempting to break in. Groggy and disoriented, I fumbled for my phone and staggered to the entrance, still clad in a worn-out t-shirt and mismatched socks. As I swung the door open, I was greeted by the blinding glare of red and blue lights flooding my front yard. Two police officers stood rigidly on my porch. "Sir, we need to speak with you," one of them declared sharply, his expression taut, while his partner's hand hovered near his utility belt, fingers twitching close to his taser. My pulse quickened, a rush of dread surging through me. Had there been a break-in? An accident? Nothing, however, could have prepared me for their next words. "We received a noise complaint about your air conditioner," the officer stated matter-of-factly. "You need to turn it off immediately." I blinked, utterly perplexed. My air conditioner? I didn't even own one. Still half asleep, I responded slowly, "I don't have an air conditioner." The officer's tone grew impatient. "Sir, we've had multiple complaints from your neighbor. This is the second time tonight." Rubbing my temples, I tried to process this absurdity. "Who made the complaint?" I asked. "A Mrs. Linda Grayson," he replied. "She's concerned your air conditioner is disturbing the neighborhood." I nearly laughed. "Linda Grayson?" I echoed. "She doesn't even live on the street." The officer's eyes narrowed. "We've had enough calls to warrant of why, Sid. If you can prove there's no air conditioner, it would clarify things." I stepped aside, inviting them in. They searched my home with the diligence of a SWAT team, inspecting the kitchen, living room, and even the backyard. One muttered about wasted time before they finally left. I assumed that was the end of it. I was mistaken. The next morning, I discovered a crumpled note jammed into my mailbox, scrawled in furious handwriting. "Your air conditioner is a nuisance. Turn it off, or I'll call the cops again. Linda Grayson." The message was blunt, almost menacing. That afternoon, I marched 5 blocks to her Housia gaudy 2-story with a manicured lawn and cliched "live, laugh, love" signs adorning the porch. I knocked, and Linda answered promptly, as if anticipating my arrival. "Oh, it's you," she sneered, her dark hair pulled back so tightly it seemed painful. "I don't have an air conditioner," I said flatly. "Never have." She huffed. "Well, I hear something, and it's ruining my sleep. Fix it, or I'll keep calling the police." "You live 5 blocks away," I retorted. "How could you possibly hear anything from my house?" She crossed her arms, smug. "I have very sensitive hearing. I detect VY brations others can't." I nearly choked. "Vibrations? Linda, this is absurd." She jabbed a finger into my chest. "You think this is a joke? We'll see who's laughing when you're fined." For the next week, my life became a farce. Angry notes appeared under my door, and twice more, police arrived late at night, responding to Linda's relentless complaints about the phantom air conditioner. The officers grew visibly exasperated, as did I. Then things escalated. One morning, I found my car tire slashed. I couldn't prove it was Linda, but my instincts pointed to her. Another night, I caught her lurking near my property line, phone in hand, whispering before scurrying off when she spotted me. Determined to uncover the truth, I spoke with neighbors. They revealed Linda's history of outlandish accusations claiming the Millers were conducting seances in their garage over loud rock music, or accusing the Garcias of running a secret casino because of their Friday poker games. Linda wasn't just irritating, she was fixated. To end this madness, I purchased a basic noise meter and recorded my home's sound level complete silence. Whatever Linda heard wasn't from me. Then a neighbor, Mr. Daniels, mentioned something curious. "You know Linda's got a noisy generator set up, right?" he said. "It's been rumbling behind her garage for months, loud as a truck." Intrigued, I drove by her house that evening, windows down. Sure enough, a deep, guttural hum emanated from her property, not mine. Furious, I confronted her the next morning. "You've been reporting me when the noise is from your generator." Her face flickered with feigned innocence. "I don't know what you mean," she sniffed. "It's behind your garage," I pressed. "That's the source, not me." For a split second, her smugness faltered. Then she snapped, "That's ridiculous. I'd know if my own generator was loud. Would you?" I shot back. "The police might find this interesting." Her cheeks flushed, and she slammed the door. That night, the police returned. Linda had called, alleging I tried to break into her home. The officers, weary and skeptical, barely listened as I explained I'd been home all evening. From her porch, Linda sobbed theatrically in a bathrobe, wailing, "I just want to feel safe." As the squad car departed, she flashed me a triumphant smirk. This was an override. Find a way to stop her, no matter the cost. The following morning, I resolved to gather irrefutable evidence. Neighbors sympathized but hesitated to intervene. Linda intimidated them into silence. Mr. Daniels, however, offered a breakthrough. He showed me a folder of her past complaints emails about the Millers threatening cat stares, notes accusing a family of mosquito breeding via overwatering, even claims a neighbor's porch light signaled crime. She's obsessed with control, he said. Then he mentioned her generator and her odd nighttime habits, tinkering with it and whispering on the phone. An idea struck: use her fixation on noise against her. I enlisted my friend Sarah, a tech expert with a knack for surveillance systems. She installed a hidden microphone near Linda's backyard and a discreet camera by her porch. For 2 nights, nothing happened, just the generator's drone. On the 3rd night, at 1 a.m., Sarah and I watched the live feed. Linda emerged in a bulky robe, flashlight in hand, adjusting the generator. She dialed her phone, and Sarah boosted the audio. "They're starting to suspect," Linda hissed. "I've called the cops," Anathiri annoyed. "We need it louder." My jaw dropped. She continued, mentioning a VY Bration de VYC under her porch, designed to mimic an air conditioner's hum and frame me. "She's orchestrating this," I muttered. "And someone's helping her," Sarah added. The footage wasn't enough. I needed her caught in the act. The next night, I waited in my car. Past midnight, Linda appeared, muttering into her phone, "I've almost got him. A few more police VY sits, and he'll sell." She froze, sensing me, her flashlight sweeping near my hiding spot behind bushes. I held my breath until she retreated. The next day, I compiled the evidence audio, VY her suspicious calls, and met with the police. Their boredom turned to concern as they heard Linda's confession. That evening, they raided her property, uncovering the generator and VY Bration de VYC. Linda shrieked as they confiscated it, feigning VY Timhood, then tears. The officers weren't fooled. Relief washed over me, but Linda's final glare from her window, miming a phone call, warned me she wasn't done. Small retaliations followed: toppled trash cans, footprints in my garden, a bent mailbox. Then a fake homeowners committee letter arrived, accusing me of noise violations from my silent home. Linda denied it, smirking, "Be careful who's watching." The police VY sits resumed wild claims of me screaming or throwing bottles. My breaking point came when I found my front door ajar, my home subtly disturbed. With Sarah, I set a trap cameras and a faint buzzing speaker. At 2 a.m., Linda planted a humming device near my window, grinning. I took the footage to the police, who cited her for harassment and false reports. In court, her fabricated evidence crumbled against my video, earning her a restraining order and fines. Weeks later, a postcard arrived. "You haven't seen the last of me." Linda's handwriting was unmistakable. She wasn't finished, but I'd won this round. Then flyers appeared, branding my home a criminal den. Boxes of shady electronics were dumped on my driveway, ordered under a fake name with Linda's billing address. The police arrested her for fraud and harassment, ending her reign. A final note, "I'll be back," arrived, but I tossed it aside. I'd faced her chaos and prevailed. If she returned, I'd be ready, no longer afraid.